And up here in Minnesota, it was kind of a situation where, as you said, Justin Jefferson did show up. He wasn't here for the OTA periods, but he did show up for minicamp, the mandatory minicamp, which I think is a good thing. I think it kind of creates goodwill as they're trying to negotiate his monster extension that's going to be over $30 million a year. And so, but I think it's a smart move on his part, a smart move on his agent's part to have him come in. Now he's not doing everything. He's not doing the 11-on-11 full contact type practices, but he's running some routes, which is actually more than I as an agent would have advised him to do. And he's participating in meetings, which is important because they do have some changes in the offense and Kevin O'Connell's offense. So that's all good. And then meanwhile, Danielle Hunter did not show up, and he wants a new contract, and he's really obviously an important guy for the Vikings also as a double-digit sack guy, and they desperately need him for the pass rush coming off a 13-win season. But he decides not to show up, which I think is a bad move on his part, especially with Brian Flores coming in there with a new defense that's going to be more conducive for Hunter because, as you know, Flores is a very aggressive guy. He's going to send 5, 6, 7 guys a lot, which is going to help Hunter not face all the double teams. So not to say that he can't make up the time in training camp. Of course he can. But I just think it's just not real smart. And then you open yourself up to getting fined, which the fines are mandatory. Used to be you kind of wink and say, oh, yeah, we're not going to fine you because we got the deal done. Well, now it's mandatory. He's going to get fined $50,000 for missing 2 days.
I don't understand why not. I mean, what's the harm in being there for the meetings, for the installation, for the walkthrough? I mean, what are you doing? I mean, I don't get missing that and how that helps your cause at all. Even if you don't do the physical stuff, I mean, what's wrong with going and getting the installation in, and being there with your teammates for 3 days?
Yeah, it's called a hold-in. The new term, the hold-in. And that players will show up. They want new contracts, and they'll at least attend the meetings and do some walkthroughs, but not necessarily participate in practice. And that was a surprising thing about Jefferson. He actually did some one-on-one drills with DBs, and he was running routes. As I said, if I was his agent, I would tell him not to do that because he's got too much at stake with his massive contract. But
he's under contract, though, isn't he? Jefferson he is still under contract. I mean, he's just trying to get a
Yeah, it's his fourth year coming up, and the Vikings did exercise the fifth-year option, so he's actually got 2 years left. But he is eligible for an extension, and as we know, when guys finish their third year, they're going to be wanting that extension, as is the case with Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, Justin Herbert out in L.A., and guys like that. And so, but they're showing up too, which is a good thing for them.
Well, if they suck after the first 3 years, do they give the money back that they would get for their fourth year or not? I mean, you can pick up the fifth year, but they don't give any money back. They're like, okay, this is the minimum, and then if I do well, then you got to extend me. When they do these extensions, are they post the fifth year, or do they go into place immediately going forward? If they were to do a new deal, does it start this year, his fourth season?
Well, because they would get a big signing bonus. It essentially kicks in immediately, and it just depends how the team treats it, because some teams may say, okay, we're not going to worry about the fifth year, and we're just going to kind of tear that one up. But most teams expect the player to live up to the next 2 years, but they're giving him for the big-time players like Jefferson, he's going to get probably a $30 million signing bonus. Tyreek Hill got 25, and Jefferson's going to go over that. So he's going to get a $30 million signing bonus. They'll bring his base salary down to minimum, which is about $1 million, and they can get a salary cap number probably in the $7 to $8 million range on a $30 million a year deal. So it doesn't hurt a team as much cap wise, and that's also the kind of the crazy thing with Hunter's deal, because they can take his base salary down from $5 million to $1 million, give him a signing bonus, and he essentially has the same $13 million cap number that he would have had before. So it doesn't seem like it's that hard a deal to do if you believe in the player and you believe that Danielle Hunter can play at least 3-4 more years at a high level at double-digit sacks, because he did have the neck injury, he did have the pec injury, but then last year he played every game. So it's a little bit of a interesting dynamics that goes on with these contract extensions this time of year. And essentially the important thing is get it done by training camp, get them into camp.
Listen to you talking like you were an NFL executive or something. I mean, listen, wow.
Yeah,
I mean, understanding all this.
I've been there. I've been there, done that. For sure.
Yeah, but you weren't giving receivers $30 million a year at that time. That number is stunning to me now. Of course, I was shocked that Odell Beckham got $15 million for 1 year at the Ravens when we don't know at all whether he can play anymore. And I'm wondering what kind of money then DeAndre Hopkins is going to get, because I don't know how many teams out there are ready to pony up $15 million. Of course, he visited Nashville first, left without a contract, went to the Patriots. A lot of people think that he'll end up signing with the Patriots. But, man, that, 15, 16 million sounds like a lot. 30 million sounds unbelievable for a guy that's going to touch the ball 5 or 6 times a game. That's it.
Yeah. Well, for guys like Hopkins and Jefferson, they're going to touch it probably 10, 12 times a game, more likely. And but you're right. I think it speaks to really the change in football, in the passing game, the dynamics of the passing game, and how it's become so much more predominant now than it used to be. And receivers are benefiting from that because they're being paid in that. Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams at $28 million a year.
Oh,
Jefferson's going to come in at $30. And meanwhile, the poor running backs, guys like Dalvin Cook, get cut because they're supposed to make $11 million, and they don't want to pay them that much. And guys like Derrick Henry are rumored to be on the trade block because the Titans don't want to pay him whatever he's supposed to make, $10, $12 million. So it's unless you're Christian McCaffrey and you're dynamic in the passing game and the running game. And it's set up a tough situation for Saquon Barkley, for example, who's been franchised at $10 million, and he wants a long-term deal. But the running back market is just so sparse that you think of a guy like Miles Sanders last year for Philly, their lead back on a Super Bowl team, and he signs in Carolina for a little over $6 million a year. And the 2 Super Bowl teams had Sanders, who was making about $1.5 million, and Pacheco in Kansas City was making, I think, $700,000 as a rookie minimum, and they go to the Super Bowl. So it doesn't speak well for the running backs for the future, unfortunately for them, unless they're really unique in the passing game like a McCaffrey.
And they were also most dynamic in their first 5 years. That's the thing too, because I'm a Browns fan, and Nick Chubb, I love him, but I feel like they've wasted his career because they didn't. It ended up only resulting in 1 playoff win, and he has a pretty big deal going forward. But at some particular point now, they've managed his carries, kind of the way the Titans did in the first 2 years of Derrick Henry. And so, Derrick Henry is a guy that maybe has a little, but he's nobody's carried the ball more than him when he's on the field in the last 4 years. But you just know, all right, they get to 4 or 5 years, you extend them with this big deal, and then they start to decline. I mean, Chris Johnson, you remember we were in Nashville together with Chris Johnson. He had to get paid. Well, Chris Johnson, they got the most out of Chris Johnson in his first 4 years. They had to pay him. They did pay him, and the next thing you know, he was 1,100 yards a season. And it's, it really is tough with running backs because they do seem like plug-and-play players that you can get out of college and go and win the championship.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And as I mentioned, Dalvin Cook up here, but his yards per carry has been dropping every year. He was 5 yards a carry, then he was 4.8, then he was 4.4 last year. And meanwhile, his contract is rising as he signed an extension. And all of a sudden, the Vikings look at it and say, hey, we can't pay you that much. We want you to take a pay cut. And Dalvin says, no, thanks. I'll try my luck elsewhere. Well, he hasn't signed anywhere yet. I mean, I'm sure he will, but he'll probably end up signing for something like Sanders did for $6-7 a year, whatever, if he can get that much. So it's tough on the running backs, and it's got to be frustrating for them, obviously. And in our agent group, unfortunately, we don't represent too many running backs.
Yeah,
we have more defensive linemen, offensive linemen, which those are the guys that are still getting paid.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. It's become you need a left tackle, you need a couple of rush ends, and you need a quarterback. and somebody that can go get the ball as well. All right, so talking about the receivers, you and I haven't talked since the great Jim Brown passed away. And, there was a lot of talk about greatest player ever. Some don't even regard him as the greatest running back ever. That's because they don't know anything and didn't watch it enough to realize, how dominant he was. And when he was what he was doing when he was playing with wide hash marks and on bad fields and in, no real Southern teams or West Coast teams, won the Los Angeles Rams. That was about it. And the 49ers were out there. But it was not, everybody was focused on him, and he still averaged over 100 yards a game, which is ridiculous. And the records that he set, what they were when he got there, it's like Babe Ruth. He obliterated. It would be like somebody showing up and rushing for 3,000 yards now. They just don't understand. But the conversation comes back to Jerry Rice. Most of the sane people, it would come down to Jim Brown or Jerry Rice. And again, I went back and looked at Jerry Rice. 5 touches a game. He averaged 5 catches a game for his entire career when it was all said and done. And I just don't know how, when you're talking greatest football player ever, how you got one guy that has 22 touches a game, another guy 5 touches a game, and you could put Jerry Rice ahead of Jim Brown.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I think certainly, and then you put guys like Lawrence Taylor in the mix, who every down pass.
And Tom Brady's number one now, by the way. I'm talking about just those two. To me, Tom Brady is one. You don't win. You don't go to 10 Super Bowls, win 7. You're number one. Forget about it. That question is over with.
No, for sure. Yeah, and quarterbacks are obviously the most important position, most important players, and he was the GOAT. We know all that. But I think in terms of just running backs, Jim Brown, fantastic player, and unfortunately I didn't get to see him play a lot as a kid, but I also saw players like Barry Sanders, and he might have been the best player I ever saw play football. He was just an unbelievable talent, and we had to face him twice a year with the Vikings in Detroit. So, but Jim Brown certainly is in that mix, and it's just hard, whatever sport you're talking about, to talk about who's the best, who's the greatest. It varies from era to era, but Jim Brown definitely a terrific player.
All right, finally, this is a seminal year for Justin Fields. Some people think he's fantastic. There's no doubt. C.J. Stroud listed him as a top 5 quarterback in the entire NFL, which maybe explains why he performed the way he did on that test, on a cognitive test. On the other hand, you could see flaws in a game, and you wonder if there's a plateau there. We both lived through the Vince Young experience. He was the rookie of the year. He did all of these crazy things, but it just kind of plateaued, and ultimately it didn't go anywhere. I get that feeling with Justin Fields. Where are you on Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears? Is this an up-and-comer, going to be in that top upper echelon, upper crust of quarterbacks in the NFL, or do you think that this guy could flame out a little bit?
Well, I think he's obviously a talented guy, and we saw that in college, certainly with his performances. But I think that this is a big year for him. The Bears have certainly increased their talent level and brought in some more receivers and some more help on the offensive line. And so I think that we'll know more about Justin Fields after this year if he takes a pretty good step forward, which he needs to do for the Bears to be able to improve. And so I think the jury's still out. It's really difficult to make a determination one way or the other because his supporting cast was so lousy the last couple of years, and getting sacked 55 times, worst in the league. And I mean, kind of like Russell Wilson, people want to throw him under the bus and say he's all washed up. Well, the Broncos were all beat up last year. All the running backs were hurt. Receivers were hurt. The best offensive lineman was out. Let's see what Russell Wilson does this year with Sean Payton and with a healthy supporting cast before we throw him aside and say he's all washed up. So it's certainly, you got to say, for a quarterback, he's got to have help, and I think Justin Fields will have more help this year, and we'll see. I think he's certainly a great talent, but also there's a question accuracy wise, and we know he can run, we know he can escape, but is that the formula to be a long-term success in the NFL? we'll see. The Ravens are hoping so with Lamar Jackson, and they're betting on it with his new contract. But he's also missed 11 games over the last 2 years, and including the playoffs last year. So for Lamar, yeah, it's nice he's got OBJ. It's nice he's got Zay Flowers and Bateman coming back. He's got a better supporting cast, and maybe that'll make a difference for him too. It's a year-to-year deal with these quarterbacks, and unless you're Patrick Mahomes, and I'll put Joe Burrow up there too because I love Joe Burrow. But,
yeah, I do too.
But it's really tough. You got to have the help.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm pulling for him because of Ryan Poles. I mean, Ryan is, Ryan and my boys used to play in the backyard together. Ryan's dad, Junior Poles, was my roommate when I was coaching. We traveled together, and the kid was a lot of fun. He played in our turkey bowls and all that kind of stuff. Our kids played together at practice, in the dummies when they were 6, 7, 8 years old. And now he's the GM, of the Chicago Bears, and he's a bright kid. And so I'm pulling for him just for Ryan, because he's hitched his wagon to that whole deal pretty much.
Yeah, that's a great story that you have that connection with him, and we shall see how it all plays out for him. Certainly, I think this is a big year for the Bears to at least show improvement, get closer to 500.
Jeff, we've got old clubs in our bag that are older than Ryan Poles. You know what I mean? We got he's 35 years old. We got putters and drivers probably hidden away in a corner of a closet that are older than Ryan Poles.
Yeah, it's amazing. Definitely
crazy.
That's the way of the world now.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It passed that by, that's for sure. But doing a great job as always. It's Jeff Diamond. His website, by the way, the 33rd. Is the 33rdteam.com is the website. That is a fascinating website. A bunch of players, coaches, and GM types that combine to share articles there, and you really get some great insight there. All right, Jeff, appreciate you.
Okay, Tom, thank you. All the best to you and your family, and talk to you soon. Take care. Have a great summer.
Thank you. You too. You too. Good the best to your family. There you go. Jeff Diamond. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back, set you up for hour number 2. It's the Tom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
One of the best-kept golf secrets in the Tennessee Valley is Cherokee Ridge. Cherokee Ridge truly offers golf at a higher level with immaculate greens set against a spectacular Appalachian backdrop. This 18-hole championship course takes every advantage of rolling hills, whispering woods, lakes, and streams. Interested in becoming a member? Their membership plans feature affordable options for couples, families, and individuals. Book your tee time today, 256-841-4551. Cherokee Ridge. Championship quality, affordable prices.
Finding great people to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Their powerful matching technology delivers so many qualified candidates, it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. For less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
T-minus 3, 2, 1.
Trash Panda Nation, ignite the fun, let's rock it.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas are home for another 6 games starting Tuesday, June 20th as they take on the Montgomery Biscuits. The first 1,500 adults into the gates at Toyota Field will receive a free Trash Pandas garden gnome. Get your tickets while they're still available now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
Let's rock it.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
These days, saving time is important, and saving money is even more so. That's where Eagle Masonry and Insulation comes in. Over the years, Eagle has expanded their services to meet the needs of folks like you in our area. If you need masonry, brick, stone, or block work, Eagle should be your first call. They can even help if your property needs grading, erosion control, and Eagle can handle dirt haul-off. Call Eagle Masonry and Insulation today at 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time, and Eagle saves you money.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Sports Talk 24/7 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Doesn't anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
Welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. Jane Anthony says, give me Scotty Scheffler and the field in our Friday trifecta. All right, we have open lines the entire second hour of the show. Okay, so coming up at the top of the hour, we are wide open for you to get your picks in. So we'll take plenty of picks up at 256-5764. 97.7 will get you in. 256-5764, 97.7. Open hour, open phones on a Friday. Coming up, I got some football topics. I got some further thoughts on the divisionless SEC. I'll get that in. And then a little blast from the past as well. A little back to the future stuff as well that we'll talk about. But your phone call, so go ahead and stack them up right now. 256-5764-97.7. I'm looking for the winner of the U.S. Open, and I'm looking for either the SEC or the field to win the College World Series. You're next on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. The NBA suspended Grizzlies star Ja Morant 25 games to start the 2023-2024 season for his latest gun-related incident. The suspension will come with conditions for his return. Michael Jordan's finalizing a sale of the Hornets, reports Woj. Jordan has been the league's only black majority owner. Once the sale's done, he's expected to keep a minority stake and presence with the franchise. The Warriors turning to Mike Dunleavy Jr. to take over as their new general manager. Dunleavy's agreed to a deal with Golden State, is elevating from the team's vice president of basketball operations. He'll replace former president and GM Bob Myers, who recently stepped down after 11 seasons and 4 NBA titles. Ricky Fowler, Xander Schauffele, the co-leaders at the U.S. Open. Rory McIlroy is 3 strokes back.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right, even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
No one knows your Ford better than our factory-trained, certified technicians, and that's a fact. Hi, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, letting you know about a one-time service promotion good through June 30th only. Starting at just $79.95 when you get the Works package for your vehicle. You buy the first one, the second one is on us. The Works package includes a synthetic blend oil change, tire rotation, vehicle checkup, and more. You buy the first one, the next one is on us, but only through June 30th. Schedule online today and come in to Woody Anderson Ford.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. We are talking about the potential for some isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms across North Alabama, southern and middle Tennessee. But not everybody's going to get wet. We are going to get to enjoy significant periods of dry time. We drop into the mid 60s as we head into the overnight, early into your Saturday morning. Overall, the front half of the weekend actually looks quite nice. A mostly to partly sunny sky. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Rain chances are going to be minimal at best, but better opportunities for rain build into the Tennessee Valley as we head into your Father's Day. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Is it lonely at the top?
Deja vu.
Not at all.
Come on, you're an ace. Everybody knows it.
Thank you for listening to 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It entertains me. I enjoy listening on the way home.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
How you doing? Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
You know who I am.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. The segment is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, who Monday night will bring you the Woody Anderson Ford Rocket City Awards, presented by the Huntsville Sports Commission from the Mars Music Hall. You can watch that thing at WHNT.com. We'll also have a link to that feed at our Facebook page as well. And the awards portion of the Rocket City Awards will begin at 7 o'clock. And it'll be about between 45 minutes and an hour, I would say, somewhere in there. So you can enjoy that deal. We appreciate Woody Anderson Ford. Obviously, they've been a sponsor of my show for some 18 or 19 years now. And I can't think of the last vehicle I bought that wasn't from Woody Anderson Ford. So Woody Anderson Ford, they do a great job in their service department as well. Not that I ever have to take my vehicle to the service department. I think I've only been in there a few times for one of my vehicles, but I've gone through there and toured the place, and it is incredible. Those new service lanes are incredible. The garage itself, they get stuff done on time, and they get it done right the first time as well. Don't forget the certified gold pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com. Learn more about that as well. We have bought our last 2 vehicles came out of that inventory, both low mileage. My wife's ragtop Mustang and my F-150 both came out of there. All right, so we do have a little one of our special Friday trifectas. I guess it's a Friday deuce, right? Because there's only 2 things that you got to know. It's a Friday deuce and a Friday trifecta. And I put up a foursome, a Cherokee Ridge here for our winner. So it's this easy. Give me a U.S. Open champ. Give me whoever's going to win the U.S. Open. And give me in the College World Series, give me either the field or the SEC. There's 3 SEC teams. The field or the SEC. It's that easy, really. And you can win. Now, here's the thing. I'm only taking picks to 2 o'clock. So whether you're texting it in or calling it in, I am only taking picks time-stamped by 2 o'clock. Because if you wait too long, you'll get an advantage on everybody else. So it's up till 2 o'clock. And that leaderboard right now has Wyndham Clark, who is 3 under for the day. He is 9 under for the tournament, leading Ricky Fowler and Xander Schauffele, who go off at 3:30-ish and 3:54 our time. Like I misspoke when I was talking to Jeff earlier, but they'll go off mid-afternoon, late afternoon, Central Time. They're at 8 under. Tony Finau is now at 5 under, 3 under for the day through 9. Harris English is 4 under. Sam Bennett is 4 under. Brian Harmon is backed up 1 shot. He's 4 under. Dustin Johnson is 3 over. He made a double bogey on the second hole. I don't know how he did it. All I know is he dropped an 8 on the card on his second hole. Backed that up with a birdie and then a bogey. And then he made another birdie at 8. And so now he's at 3 under, Dustin Johnson. So he's still in it, but it got off to a rough start for him today, that's for sure. Charlie Hoffman is at 3 under. Let's see, who else do you want to know? Rory McIlroy is now 2 over for the day, 3 under for the tournament. Cameron Smith is at 3 under. He's 2 under today through 10. Bryson DeChambeau and Scotty Scheffler are 3 under as well. Sam Burns is 2 under all day. He is 1 under for the day. He's 2 under for the tournament. I wouldn't go any deeper than that. I wouldn't go any deeper than John Rahm at 1 under. I mean, there are other guys at 1 under. 1 under is T24. There's 33 guys that are 1 under or less. Outside of John Rahm, I wouldn't even go down there because John Rahm can go low. But this course is going to get tougher and tougher and tougher. So these guys, to be honest with you, unless Ricky Fowler and Xander Schauffele just totally lay an egg today, they're in a really good position right now. I think the 4s are in pretty good shape. Rory McIlroy as a 3. If he can bounce back, we'll see. All right, lines are open, 256-576-4977. We go there with Keith, the Michigan fan. Keith, welcome to the show. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Now I can. Hey, Keith.
Okay, good. Hey, McIlroy and the field.
So McIlroy and the
he's going to
field.
bounce back. I figured Tiger probably text him and straighten him out a little bit. So... Hey, but the kid in Memphis, the basketball player. I mean,
John Morant.
I saw this morning. Yeah, I saw this morning to where last season, and this season it's probably cost him maybe $60 million because he's so idiot. He has to play with guns, and my biggest concern is he's probably gonna shoot himself one day. It's sad to say.
It's weird because it came out of nowhere because he has been a really good, he was always a good kid at Murray State and he didn't have any problems early on. And now he's running around with this group of guys, whatever, and he's now flashing guns and making goofy gang signs and doing all this stuff. And for those that missed it, he got a 25-game suspension for his second incident. He has 8 games in his first one, 25 games for his second one.
Yeah, so, hopefully somebody straighten him out, but it's the company he keeps. And I've said many times before, as I told my son, you got to be careful of the friends you have because you don't know who's really jealous of you. And, they may just want to just bring you down. Even if it destroys them, they don't care. They took you down. But, hey, I never played golf, so if I win this, I'm giving it to Wolverine Dan.
Oh, and, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because not only are we Wolverine fans, but also when I got out the military in '78, I delivered mail in Detroit for a little over a year.
Oh, really?
And it's like, dogs chasing me, the work.
I was going to say, I mean, was it like in downtown Detroit? I mean, were you packing? Did you have to carry mace?
No,
I mean, do they let the postal worker carry a gun? I don't know if they let postal workers carry guns. I don't know.
No, I shot enough in the military to where I said I won't shoot another weapon, but unless I have to, of course.
Unless you have to, right.
Yeah, unless you have to. But no, I decided to go to school and come down here and go to school. And a buddy of mine got transferred with Chrysler down here, so I met my wife, got married, and got stuck in the South. But hey, Huntsville is a really nice place to be.
Wait a minute, stuck in the South? I mean, come on, what do you mean stuck in the South?
I like throwing that out there just for people like you. But anyway,
I always tell people I was the northern by birth, but southern by the grace of God. So,
yeah,
by choice.
I'm just a Big Ten fan. Period. But if I was in Oklahoma, I'll have the same saying there too. So it's just when you're a Michigan fan, you're a Michigan fan. We everywhere. I contracted in Italy for a summer, and I was stunned at the amount of Michigan fans and Notre Dame fans that I ran into contracting over there.
Michigan, Notre Dame. You'll find Cowboy fans, Steeler fans, Yankee fans. It's like a disease. You know what I mean? They're just everywhere.
Yep, and we lifetime.
Yeah.
Yep. Talk to you later.
Appreciate you.
Go blue.
Yeah. So, I don't know, Grizz. Pizza Larry? I like the handle, but is this new meat?
No.
Might be
Pizza
new
Larry
meat,
calls in all the time. Pizza Larry calls on all the time. I don't know if he
never
calls
heard
into your
Pizza
show
Larry
a lot
on
of
my
times.
show. The only show I care about is this show. What do you mean he calls it all the time? New meat is new meat to the Thom Abraham show. That's all I care about. Pizza Larry, have you ever been on my show before?
I have not, Tom. I have called.
See, that's
the zone, except yours.
Yeah.
I listen to it all the time, but I deliver pizzas, and I don't. It's kind of a busy time, and sometimes I have time to call. Today I was in a little slack period, so I thought I'd give you a call.
Yeah, see, this is the only show where if you call in and it's the first time you've been on the show, you get one of those. I mean, Grizz, he cares about everything. I don't care about anything. Yeah, I hear you, brother. Well, who do you deliver pizza for?
Marcos.
Oh, my gosh, that's one of my favorite pizzas of all time. I love Marco's Pizza. Love Marco. Be a huge fan. When I lived in Nashville, when we lived in Franklin, I used the Marco's Pizza in Spring Hill all the time.
Yeah, we got one other close to you in Winchester, I think.
No, you do not. If you had one here, I'd be using it. I wish there were one in Winchester.
We got some in Southern Tennessee. Maybe it's something else. Smyrna, maybe?
Yeah. Smyrna would have one. But that's an hour from me. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I want to get on the Deuce Factor or whatever you call it this week.
The Deuce Factor. It's the Friday
I like
Deuce.
That. I like that.
The Deuce Factor. I like that, yeah. All right, give me a U.S. Open winner.
Ricky Fowler.
Fowler? I'm pulling for Ricky. I am pulling for Ricky. I like Schauffele, too, but I'm pulling for Ricky. In the SEC or the field, in the College World Series, you can get all three SEC teams or the field.
As much as I like the SEC, I don't think anybody's beating Wake Forest. Give me the field.
Okay. I tell you what, man, watch out for LSU. Wake Forest ain't going to be playing it. They're not playing in that bandbox they play in over there in Winston-Salem, that little league field they play in. Oh, gosh, 300 feet down the lines. Yeah.
But I really enjoy your show, Tom. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, Larry, appreciate you. Pizza Larry.
Can't believe you don't know Pizza Larry, man.
Why would I know Pizza Larry? How in God's name?
He's brought us pizza many times. Like he is a saint.
Pizza? Has Pizza Larry ever brought me pizza?
You should have been here.
Has he ever brought me pizza?
You weren't in the studio.
No.
You're in
your
studio. He can't bring it all the way to your studio.
Right. So Pizza Larry hasn't called my show, and Pizza Larry hasn't brought me pizza. So if Pizza Larry hasn't done those two things, Pizza Larry, by the way, I'm in studio every Tuesday from noon to 2 Tuesdays. In fact, I'm there starting at 10 o'clock in the morning
he also came
for a
by.
staff meeting. So Pizza Larry, Tuesday.
He also came by and donated, to the local firefighters when they had the crawfish bowl back at the furniture factory as well.
That's wonderful.
So.
That's also a thing I wasn't at. I don't know no Pizza Larry. Now I know. I mean, he listens to the show. He's a big fan. I like that.
I think he listens to all the shows.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah,
and I haven't heard of Pick Deuce in a while. I haven't heard of Pick Deuce in a while, though. From the drive.
We don't do Pick Deuce.
Well, I don't know from the drive. That's what he was asking for, the Deuce.
No, he said Deuce Factor.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He didn't say pick deuce.
I know, but most people think it's a pick.
Fecta.
Like when they get your mixed up with the pick 2. Some people call in and asking for the pick 2. I'm like, you know what time it is, right?
Well, you also know that the pick 2 is a, we know where the pick 2 came from. Oh, yeah. I was doing the Friday trifecta 19 years ago. You know what I mean? Pick 2 was like, hey, that's do something.
That's a knockoff, right?
It's a knockoff. There you go. I was going to say ripoff.
Imitation.
But a ripoff or an imitation sounds bad to say that, so I'm going to say it was a knockoff. It's often imitated, never duplicated.
It's one of those brands that gets made in another country. It's not American made.
So, over there in Omaha, Rocco's has got their Jello Shot Challenge going on. And I this is interesting. I don't know if this is a commentary on the fans or not, but Virginia, the way this works is that it's a Jello Shot Challenge. The $5 Jello shots, and they keep track of how many Jello shots are bought by particular fans. So, Virginia fan has bought 95 Jello shots so far. The Virginia Cavalier people, 95 Jello shots. The Stanford people from out there in the California IA, who probably did not travel very well, they bought 120 Jello shots. Florida fan has bought 142 Jello shots. Tennessee fan has bought 195 Jello shots. Let me tell you something. Tennessee fan, that's disappointing. That's just not that far from Tennessee to Omaha, Nebraska. That is disappointing, Tennessee fan, that you've only bought. Tony Vitello himself and the team would probably buy 195 Jello shots. That's not good, Tennessee fan. Now, this one I'm a little bit concerned about. Oral Roberts has bought 296 Jello shots,
baby.
okay? I mean, Oral Roberts listen, Tennessee fan and Florida fan, Oral Roberts is out drinking you right now with Jello shots at Rocco's in Omaha. 296.
LSU had 123 the first day.
I'm not getting there. Let me get there. Don't scoop me. Wake Forest, 447 Jello shots for Wake Forest so far. TCU fan, 521 Jello shots. But LSU fan, clocking in at 659 Jello shots right
Studs. Now. Yeah, leading.
Of course they're leading. And there's only like 12 people there that are supporting LSU. LSU does not travel great. I'll be honest with you. All due respect to LSU Lynch, I'm going to just say this right now. I mean, I've been to, 15 SEC championship games. I've been to at least 3 or 4 that LSU were in. LSU does not travel well. They really don't. They act like they do, but they really don't travel that well. Now, maybe for baseball, who knows? Maybe they're there. My guess is there's like 19 LSU fans in Omaha, and they bought all 660 Jello shots. They're just pounding the Jello shots. But Tennessee fan and Florida fan, you should be embarrassed that Oral Roberts, for God's sakes, Oral Roberts, Christian University, Oral Roberts, 296, 100 more than Tennessee and 150 more than Florida. Weak. A week from you guys. Let me throw something out there, and then we'll go to a break. Phone lines are open for the entire hour. If you want in, 256-576-4977. Upon further reflection, looking at the divisionless 2024 SEC and the schedules that came out, it seems to me, big picture now, it seems to me that the biggest losers in this whole deal of getting rid of the divisions are Florida and Tennessee. And here's why. Simply, their schedules are going to be tougher now every year. Every year. I mean, Florida still will play East Behemoth, Georgia, but they lose South Carolina, Kentucky, Missouri, and Vandy on an annual basis. They'll play one or two of them each year, but they don't get to play all 4 of those. And yes, you could say Kentucky's a team on the come. Maybe with the transfer quarterback, they're interesting. Spencer Rattler this year 2 at South Carolina. But by and large, South Carolina, Kentucky, Missouri, and Vandy, I mean, that's not a hard row to hoe in the SEC. It's not to mention that Florida has dominated Tennessee for years and years. Yes, I know Tennessee won last year, but for years, Florida's dominated that matchup. And while Tennessee likely won't face Georgia on a yearly basis, there's no way that Tennessee and Georgia are going to get together every year. It probably still gets Alabama on a yearly basis, but it loses the 4 manageable cupcake games that they played annually in the East. Now, in 24, Tennessee will still play Florida and Georgia, but they get Kentucky and Vandy. But South Carolina and Missouri, they're replaced by Arkansas and Oklahoma. Those are tougher games. And look at Florida. Their annual games with Missouri, Vandy, and South Carolina, gone. They still have LSU in 24, but now they have Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and Texas. In the meantime, the traditional Western Division teams pick up a couple of more games each year against the weaker East. This is going to affect, let me tell you something, this will affect the Georgia Bulldogs as well. Enjoy your cupcake schedule in 23 because this will affect Georgia beginning in 24. They lose games against all them cupcakes, and they'll add a couple of more games against the West every year. Against the traditional West every year. And if had divisions remained, if they had stayed with divisions in the SEC, likely Auburn would have moved to the East. And Oklahoma and Texas would have joined the already brutal West. I mean, just some thoughts. I just throw it out there. I put it out there. You want to react to that? React to that. 256-576-4977. You haven't exactly jumped all over this topic this week anyway. We've all been talking about it, and you haven't exactly jumped all over the topic. We, the Sports Talk hosts of America, think that you care about this vehemently, when in reality, you'd probably rather hear about the Jell-O shots. I don't know.
Or how to properly drink a Jell-O shot or take a Jell-O shot.
Yes. However that is. Or about fighting in soccer, maybe. I don't know. So 256-576-4977. Open lines when we return. 97.7 ESPN. The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Check out VSiN's catalog of original podcasts, daily and weekly programming to keep you in the know when you're on the go. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Deshaun Robinson is a plus 300 favorite to win the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year honors. Bryce Young plus 500, CJ Stroud plus 900. MVP futures, Patrick Mahomes plus 700, Joe Burrow plus 750, Josh Allen plus 800. NFL offseason activities finish up this week. For most teams, that was mandatory minicamp. Next on the agenda, training camp. About a month away, the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs are the favorite to win it again at plus 650, followed by the Eagles at plus 800, the Bills plus 900, the Niners plus 1,000. The Cardinals and Texans head into the season as the longest bets at plus 20,000 apiece.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that, chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at BadDaddy'sBurgerBar.com.
Finding great people to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Their powerful matching technology delivers so many qualified candidates, it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. For less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seed, managing partner of University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Crimson Tide football. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com for all our great offers. And get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today. Because we want to see you in a Kia. Roll Tide!
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a 5th generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey Wes, we show up.
Heary, heary! If you want freedom and independence from those high temperatures and those high utility bills, there's only one place to give a ring to, and that is Talent Heating and Air. Thomas with us from Talent Heating and Air. And Thomas, you've got the independence and the declaration to give customers those breaks.
That's right. We're offering free second opinions and service calls starting at $17.76.
$17.76 for those service calls. And there's only one phone number to call, and that is
256-503-4490.
It's Talent Heating and Air. You can also find them online at
talenthvac.com.
That's Talent Heating and Air, giving you the independence and freedom on this 4th of July from those high temperatures and high utility bills.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Philip Love of not only Eagle Insulation, now he represents Eagle Companies. Eagle through the years have added several companies to help individuals or builders through their construction renovation process. Eagle is known to represent quality, efficiency, and professionalism. Philip, I know you do insulation, but do you do masonry?
We do.
Do you do grading, erosion control, and dirt hauled off?
We do.
Do you do afterpaint, which includes shower doors, mirrors, shelving blinds, and bath hardware?
Yes, we do, Wes.
Do you do landscaping and irrigation?
Yes, we do.
So basically, Eagle can help you all along your process of building your house or doing renovations. So do you do plumbing?
We do not, Wes, but we can find somebody to do it.
Just give them time. They'll be there. Anyway, call Eagle Insulation at
256-755-1556.
Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Call Eagle today.
Thanks, Wes.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. We are talking about the potential for some isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms across North Alabama, southern and middle Tennessee. But not everybody's going to get wet. We are going to get to enjoy significant periods of dry time. We drop into the mid 60s as we head into the overnight, early into your Saturday morning. Overall, the front half of the weekend actually looks quite nice. A mostly to partly sunny sky. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Rain chances are going to be minimal at best, but better opportunities for rain build into the Tennessee Valley as we head into your Father's Day. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You want to see what I bring to the party?
Congratulations to The Drive as we celebrate a decade of Wes and Steve. Here's to 10 more.
Now, Sonny and Cher would say, that's on you, babe.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. The segment of the show brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. For all your mortgage needs, it's North Alabama Mortgage. Brian Hammaker and his team do a tremendous job making sure they get you into the right product. And don't be worrying about whether or not the interest rate is 5% or 6%, because it's a heck of a lot less than that credit card interest rate that you have, and you still have a lot of value in your home. So when you refinance with North Alabama Mortgage and pay off all those high interest rate credit cards, you are way, way ahead of the game. They can help you with a home valuation. Just go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com. All right, let's go to the lines. We start with the Crawdad. Crawdad, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, Tom, I'm doing great, and I will start off by saying I can personally attest to Brian Hammaker and his crew. They're awesome. But one thing I want to mention about the lack of divisional play, I think one reason why they went away from that is there's a little secret flaw that was hidden in the SEC championship game that you may not even have heard about. But what the problem was this, let's say, and that almost happened one year, where the East, say, of the SEC is horrible, and maybe, you know, a team like Tennessee runs the East, but they have 4 other losses, so they win the East. The procedure for the SEC championship game to pick the 2 opponents is if there were 2 opponents in the West and both were ranked higher than Tennessee, they go to the championship game. So a lot of people didn't know that, but I looked it up.
No, that can't be true. I don't believe that that's true. Because I remember one year Tennessee was 5-3 one year and won the East, and there were 2 teams in the West that were better than that. There were 3 teams in the West, I believe, that were better that year, but Tennessee still went and represented the East. It was always the East champion against the West champion.
Yeah, I read it. Maybe I read it wrong, but
what's going to happen is going. That's going to be the big question. It's how are they going to figure this out? Well, they're going to take the 2
high-strength teams.
Well, it won't be ranked. It'll be based on tiebreakers. I mean, it'll be easy if you have 2 teams that are 7-1, let's say. You know what I mean? Then you know, and then everybody else has got one. The question is going to be what are the tiebreakers going to look like when you have 3 teams that all have 2 losses, or 1 team that has 1 loss and 2 teams that have 2 losses? What's going to be the basis of the tiebreaker? I would believe the first tiebreaker will be head-to-head. You know, that should be the first tiebreaker. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Georgia goes 8-0, and they won't that year, but let's say Georgia goes 7-1. If Georgia goes 7-1, Alabama goes 6-2, and LSU goes 6-2. I think the first tiebreaker is what was the score in the Alabama-LSU game. Whoever won that game would be the second team to play in the championship. But you're going to have a lot of years where, because you're only playing half the teams in the league, you're going to have a lot of years where they didn't play each other. Now you go to common opponents. Now you go to best record, you know, against common opponents and things like that. So the rankings, the rankings won't come into play at all. I mean, they won't even be in the mix. What your AP ranking or your college football playoff ranking is, those won't come into play at all. The first several tiebreakers will all be based on your SEC record.
All right. Well, hey, we'll see how it plays out. A quick golf question before I hang up. When is the new merged golf league going to take effect? And does this have any effect on the senior tour also, do you know?
It doesn't. The senior tour, the Champions Tours, and the LPGA, by the way, are part of the PGA. So, yes, in terms of those, all of those entities, all that made up the PGA Tour, which is the PGA Tour, the Champions Tour, and the LPGA Tour, are all going under the PIF now. They'll all go under the PIF along with the Live Golf Tour and the European Tour, which is called the DP World Tour now. So all of those go under it, and this all begins January 1, 2024. Now, the question is the Live Golf Tour going to continue to play? We're still going to have a Champions Tour and an LPGA Tour and a PGA Tour. The question is there going to be any kind of a Live Golf Tour? And the Live Golf guys think that there is. They say they've been told that they're going to continue to have their own league, but their league will be under the umbrella of the PIF along with the PGA. So it's not like the PGA absorbed Live Golf. What's happened is that a new entity was formed, and they're all going underneath that new entity with this all funded by Saudi Arabian blood money, if you will.
But what about TV? Is any word on that yet?
No word on what. I mean, there's TV contracts still being negotiated. I know the TV people, they were pushing for this because they don't like the fact that the PGA Tour events, even though the numbers were still very strong, they want those guys back on the PGA Tour. And so the guys that have been playing in Live Golf events, well, I think what's going to end up happening is there's going to be a team format league within the PGA Tour ultimately. It might not happen at 24, but down the road, there'll be teams, and they'll play their regular PGA and then tournaments, and there'll be a schedule of 6 or 8 of these team-type events. That'll involve everybody, and everybody in the PGA will be involved in it, not just the guys that went to Live Golf. And the Live Golf guys will have a way to get back on the PGA Tour, and everybody will live happily ever after. And you'll be this week is they won't call it Live, but this week is a team event, whatever they call it, PGA 54 event or whatever, and it'll be, how they play.
And all the Live guys that left, they still get to keep their millions. If I was a PGA like a Rory McIlroy, I'd be a mad hombre.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Remember, the PIF is bringing $2 billion to the table. So what's going to end up happening is the commissioner has already said the existing PGA Tour guys that stayed loyal to the PGA Tour, they're all going to get a check too, based on your standing. Because remember, not everybody got $100 million over there. We know about, what Phil got and Koepka and so on. A lot of guys got 40 million, 50 million, whatever. So what you're going to see happening is the first thing that's going to happen is those PGA Tour guys that are above a certain level on the money, they're all going to get paid as well. You watch. He says that they're going to make them whole.
That'll be interesting, and I know I'm not in the contest, but I say Skinny Bryson now is going to win it. Take care.
All right, appreciate you. He likes Bryson DeChambeau. I do have a question for Crawdad. At some point in time, maybe we'll get him on and have him talk about it. But the new coach at Army, it's an interesting deal, Grizz. The new coach at Army is going to more of a standard offense, more of a spread offense. The Army's not running the wishbone anymore. They're not running the triple option anymore. And the reason the service academies all run the triple option is because of the fact that they have smaller linemen. You can run the triple option with 265, 270-pound linemen because what you're doing is you're blocking you're influencing the first level and blocking the second level. You know what I mean? You don't necessarily, you're not blocking the defensive tackle or the defensive end. You're blocking linebackers. And if the defensive tackle crashes down, you pull down. If he stays outside, you give it to the fullback. If he crashes down, you pull the ball. All right, now you're reading the defensive end. And if the defensive end attacks the quarterback, you pitch. And if the defensive end drifts out to the pitch man, then the quarterback keeps it. So you're influencing the tackle and the end, and you're blocking linebackers because you're smaller on your offensive line. So now Army's not going to be running the triple option anymore. And the question is, I don't even know, is there a size limit I mean, typically to running. No, you're laughing. I'm serious.
I know.
At West Point, can you be 330 pounds, 350 pounds at West Point? Because
they do have that sprint football. Yeah.
To run the offense that they want to run, you have to have big offensive linemen.
Yeah.
They're going to run zone stuff. They're going to run zone read stuff. They're going to base block.
He could be able to answer it.
No, I don't want to talk to him now.
Okay.
I'm just saying that's a question.
Yeah.
For down the road.
No, I think it's kind of crazy. I mean, it's something that you've seen Jeff Monken and just Army been doing for forever. I mean, it's a thing that I don't understand why, if it works, why go away with something, but I guess that's the norm of football nowadays.
Well, we'll see how it does.
There's a team locally that I wish would run triple option all the time. I feel like
the Army-Navy game. The Army-Navy game is going to be very, very interesting. Now, when I coached in a triple option in the 80s, we did it because nobody else was doing it.
Yeah.
And we were small. All right? We were small on the offensive line, and so our biggest offensive linemen were like 220. So we ran the triple option, and nobody else did it. And it was like a pain in the butt for other teams to prepare for. It's like, oh, God, now we got to play triple options. And we would run it to death. We won 2 championships with it in my 6 years or 5 years.
Time we needed a first down, we ran a wedge or we ran the quarterback keep and shotgun. We just ran it straight up the middle. We run it right at you. And then it was like anytime you try to zone block and you try to run to the side. Grissom, when I was at Grissom. And anytime we tried to run, any kind of zone and try to, go side to side, it wasn't working.
Yeah.
Straight up, north and south. Keep it vertical.
I'm a base guy. I'm not really a zone guy myself anyway.
Yeah.
I would rather X block at the point of attack or get down blocks. I'm about angles. I am not a big I'm not a big guy.
When I was at Westminster, getting the guys to understand how to zone block and everything that the head coach wanted at the time, like it was actually kind of impressive to watch, 7th and 8th graders be able to kind of understand it, and it was actually used pretty effectively.
Well, I think it's an easy concept.
Yeah.
I think base blocking is a little bit more difficult.
But it's hard. It's just hard in general. I mean, even at that age, cats still can't.
Base blocking, at that age, luckily you can get them into a stance. Base blocking has rules, and so the rules of base blocking is it takes a little time to teach. But man, I'll tell you what, you get a tackle coming down on a 3 technique. A 3 technique is outside shade of the guard, and a 5 technique is outside shade of the tackle. And you get a down block from your tackle on the 3 technique and a kick out block from the guard on the 5 technique and, get a lead block up in there with a fullback. Ooh, that's good stuff. Let's go to Grumpy. He's next. Grumpy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. Hey, with the new scheduling in the SEC, are they doing it home and away, like, or you just play one team every 7 years?
No. Oh, no. It's going to be you want to know whether they're doing. See, what the Big Ten is doing is they're backing that up that way. So, in other words, Auburn plays Arkansas at home in 24. Does that mean they play Arkansas on the road in 25? No. The answer to that is no. It's more likely. No, it's more likely going to rotate. So the 4 teams, or the 7 teams that you're not playing in 24. You'll play those people in 25, and then in 26, you'll go back and go to Arkansas and go to Oklahoma and go to Texas A&M and go to Vandy. You know what I mean? So that's why I think Auburn, for example, Auburn in 25 will go to Texas. I think that's the way that's probably going to shape up.
So Auburn will play Florida every what?
Every other year. Every other year, but it'll be home, 1 year home, and then the next time they play them, it'll be away. So they'll play them home once every 4 years, and they'll play them away once every 4 years, but they'll play them every other year.
But what about the teams that we don't play every other year? That's what I'm trying to get.
There's nobody that you don't play every other year.
So we'll play Missouri every other year?
Every other year, yeah. You play, for example, you're playing in 24. That's why I say for Auburn, this is a break, because you've now picked up, instead of playing one team or 2 teams out of the East, you're going to play, like in 24, you play Vanderbilt, Georgia, Missouri, and Kentucky. In 25, you'll play the other ones, and then in 26, you'll play at Missouri, at Kentucky, Vanderbilt, at Vanderbilt, that kind of thing. So.
Now, I got a quick question.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to happen in 2024. Have 2 teams played each other 3 times in 1 year.
Have 2 teams played each other 3 times in 1 year? I would say that has never happened.
I believe it will happen in 2024.
And the 2 teams would be, I would guess, Alabama and Georgia? Is that what you're thinking?
Yep, Alabama and Georgia. I bet they play 3 times in 1 year.
Would a 12-team playoff
SEC championship game and the 12-team championship?
See, I don't think Alabama's in. I don't think Alabama. I think Alabama's going to have a hell of a time getting into the SEC championship game in 24. I mean, they got a tough road to hold. They're playing at LSU, at Oklahoma, at Tennessee, at Wisconsin. Well, the Wisconsin game doesn't count for the SEC. And they get Georgia at home, and they get Auburn at home. I think it's going to be a tough road to hoe for Alabama to get in, and it might also be tough for Georgia, because Georgia's got a tough schedule there. LSU has a good look.
Let me ask you this: if you have a really good SEC team and you get in the 3 hole, and you're just a little bit worse than the 1 and the 2, wouldn't you rather be in the 3 hole?
No doubt. No doubt, especially if it was getting better as the season went on. So you lose a couple of games. Say you lost a game or 2 early in the season, but by the end of the season you're playing really well, but you didn't have a record to get you into the SEC championship game. I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks in the playoffs. I'll be there in the playoffs. I'll see you in 3 weeks.
Every year, those elite teams will always get like an offensive lineman that'll come back at the end of the year if you give them enough time to heal up, stuff like that.
Well, the question will be the value of the bye in the playoffs. That's going to be the question. Is it because you will never, ever be the 3 team in your conference, any of these conferences. You'll never be the 3 team in your conference and get a bye in the playoffs where you go straight to the to the Final Four level.
Well, let me ask you this. How many teams are they going to have? How many conferences are getting into that 12 team? And would they all get a bye? You can't do that.
No. There'll be 4 byes. The 4 highest ranked teams are going to bye. The 6 conference champions with the best ranking, with the highest ranking, get the automatic bids, and then there's 6 at-large bids for the playoff. So there'll be 2 conference champions that do not. There'll be the Big 12 champion and the American champion or something like that.
What about this? What about if 2 SEC teams are undefeated, meet in the Southeastern Conference Championship, and after the game, one of them's ranked number 1 and one of them's ranked number 4?
That one that's ranked number 4 will be the 5 seed in the tournament and will not get a bye. Because it's the byes go to the 4 highest ranked conference champions.
Okay.
You could have 1, 2, 3 in the SEC. You know what I mean? What if they just are like amazing and you got 1, 2, and 3 all coming out of the SEC, and the one that's the 1 gets to go to gets the bye. The 2 and the 3 are playing the next week or in 2 weeks when the playoff starts.
Saban's gone in 2 years. 2 years, Saban's gone.
Yeah, he's going to say, I don't need this crap. He could. I mean, he could. I don't think it's a horrible. I don't think it's. He could. All right, we get a break. Come back with a final segment next. Could we have a Back to the Future moment? I'll explain right after this. And do you want it? On 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Who let the dogs out?
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
One of the best-kept golf secrets in the Tennessee Valley is Cherokee Ridge. Cherokee Ridge truly offers golf at a higher level with immaculate greens set against a spectacular Appalachian backdrop. This 18-hole championship course takes every advantage of rolling hills, whispering woods, lakes, and streams. Interested in becoming a member? Their membership plans feature affordable options for couples, families, and individuals. Book your tee time today, 256-841-4551. Cherokee Ridge. Championship quality, affordable prices.
T-minus 3, 2, 1,
and the nation ignite the fun. Let's rock it.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas are home for another 6 games starting Tuesday, June 20th as they take on the Montgomery Biscuits. The first 1,500 adults into the gates at Toyota Field will receive a free Trash Pandas garden gnome. Get your tickets while they're still available now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
Let's rock it.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
Suffering from emotional pain and mental health conditions? Intensive Outpatient Programs, or IOP, is a rich addition to your continued individual therapy. Group members realize they're not alone and that others have similar difficulties. Hearing and sharing different ways to think and cope can be encouraging, empowering, and promote healing. In most cases, treatment is covered by insurance and no doctor referral is needed. Virtual IOP sessions available. Take your first step to wellness by calling 205-999-5247 or log on IOPServicesLLC.com.
The Atlanta Braves are rolling, and this loaded roster's on a mission to bring home their 6th straight division crown.
Ozzie swinging it from the left side, and he hits one well to right field. Lots of fours on this one. Hello, Chop House. A 2-run homer.
Tonight, Truist Park comes alive for Braves baseball as Austin Riley and the Braves take the field against the Colorado Rockies in Atlanta. Braves radio's on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. We are talking about the potential for some isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms across North Alabama, southern and middle Tennessee. But not everybody's going to get wet. We are going to get to enjoy significant periods of dry time. We drop into the mid 60s as we head into the overnight, early into your Saturday morning. Overall, the front half of the weekend actually looks quite nice. A mostly to partly sunny sky. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Rain chances are going to be minimal at best, but better opportunities for rain build into the Tennessee Valley as we head into your Father's Day. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
This is Mike Greenberg. Be sure and download the app today. Just search for 97.7 ESPN and listen to my show every weekday right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. The anthem is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center. For all your injury needs, it's the Orthopedic Center. Don't forget, when your primary physician says, I think you may need to see an orthopedic about that, you say to him, I want to see the orthopedic TOC. It's right there in the name. The Orthopedic Center. It's not like a orthopedic center. It's not like some orthopedic center. It's the Orthopedic Center. Like the Ohio State, it's the Orthopedic Center. Could be a work injury, sports injury, whatever it is. I'll take care of you at the Orthopedic Center. All right, before we shove you off, this town was a big part of the indoor football movement back in the day. The Tennessee Valley Vipers were a thing. I mean, it was an exciting night. The place was packed all the time. It was an impossible ticket to get into. They launched the AF2 with a game in Birmingham against the Steel Dogs in front of 15,000 people. And then ultimately ended up in the actual AFL proper for 1 year with people like the Tampa Bay Storm and the Orlando Predators and the Arizona Rattlers and the San Jose, what were they, the Sabertooth or Saber Tigers or whatever they were. So then the AFL eventually went broke. 2017, I think the AFL filed for bankruptcy. And there's been a couple of leagues that have been around now for a few years, the IFL and the NAL, all right, National Arena League. And those leagues have some teams in them that have familiar names, Jacksonville Sharks, Carolina Cobras, and some of the others, okay? I did not realize this. I guess I must have missed this. But there was an announcement back in February that the AFL is coming back next spring. The Arena Football League is coming back next spring under new ownership. And there was a podcast that the commissioner did last month that was kind of interesting to listen to. I've listened to about half of it just to kind of see what's going on. And this guy seems to be well on his way, supposedly. Lee Hutton is his name. He's the commissioner. And he says that they're going to have 16 teams next spring, and there's going to have 2 conferences. And the conferences are each going to have a 4-team division in it. And he's talking like the Arizona Rattlers are going to be in there, and the Philadelphia Soul are going to be in there, and there's going to be 2 teams in Texas, and there's a team in Minnesota and a team in St. Louis. I mean, he's already, it's all being laid out. So it'd be kind of interesting down the road to see, is this something that our market would want back again in any way, shape, or form? Arena football. We'll try and learn more about it next week. In the meantime, coming up next is the Paul Feinbaum Show. Remember, College Baseball World Series all weekend long, including beginning tonight. Right here on your home for everything. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news from ESPN.